Hello everyone, my name is Sheen and today we are back with another episode of me renovating my old zoo. And just as a starter, I had to do the whole peafowl habitat again. Why? Because I didn't save. And because I always play franchise, and in franchise you can't exit without saving, but it's not the same as sandbox. I just exited and didn't save. So this is the new old peafowl habitat. It looks mostly the same. The stones have the exact color. The bamboo piece is not, but I think it also looks fine, and it's not like something that's a major change or something. These statues and the rock formation looks a little bit different because I couldn't recreate it anymore, so yeah. But basically it looks the same, just a little bit different, the same, so yeah. And now, after we are done with the entrance area and the first habitat that has no kind of theming to it, we will begin with Asian animals. So now the first Asian or real Asian in the Asian animal park in the Asian animal part of the park, so that's what I wanted to say, is the Komodo dragon. But we all know the Wetland DSC just came out, and I don't have any zoo where I can fit any of these animals in except for this one, so I'm not quite sure with which animal I will start from the wetland pack. Maybe the Asian small-clawed otter or the red-crowned crane. I'm not quite sure. At first I wanted to do the red-crowned crane, but then you have like two birds after another next to each other. So, but anyway, this is what you have with the peafowls and flamingos. So I don't know. I just don't think that it's that good. So maybe I will start with the Asian small-clawed otter, I'm not quite sure, but I think I will figure it out once I'm building, so yeah, have fun with the time-lapse. And here we are in the time-lapse section of this video. First of all, I had a lot of issues with the water and this goddamn river I wanted to make, so be prepared to see a little bit of me struggling with that. I also cut a bit of it out because it was just too much, so yeah. But before I even built anything in here, I had the idea to make a plan of the Asian part of the zoo. Since the river goes through the whole section, I needed to plan a bit beforehand. So, as you can see now, it's only practical and not at all suitable for a zoo map in the actual zoo. So, just so you know and have a little idea on what you see, the brown lines are the passes, the red are for the habitats, and maybe you are able to read my handwriting and know already all the animals that will go in the Asian section. If not, it's a surprise, I guess. Yeah, the green lines are the viewing points and the orange ones are for the staff buildings. The brown squares are mostly for eat and drink shops or one restaurant, apparently, for now. I think this will change a little bit, especially since I can already tell you that the zoo as it is pictured in this plan is not going to be like that, not exactly, because I messed up a little bit of the scaling. I mean, you can see that now, but beyond the restaurant area, the habitat is the elephant area, so the elephant habitat, and this whole area is just 2 times bigger than the red panda habitat on the right, so this doesn't make any sense whatsoever, so I knew the scaling would be off, especially also when you look at the bear valley in the top right. There are 4 habitats for 4 different bears, and they all together are not even I think, or maybe they are the size of the red panda habitat, so doesn't make that much sense. But yeah, it's it's my first try at doing somewhat of a plan, so bear with me. I also have had the idea like to make the bear valley deeper in the ground, so I mean it's a valley, you know, and on the left you can see some kind of a mountain. I'm not quite sure if it's going to be like that because scaling issues, but anyway, let's go back to the actual time lapse and let's move on from this awful plan I made. Here you can see me now struggling with the river. As I mentioned before, it took me a long time to get this river how I wanted it to be, and actually, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but the first habitat is going to be for the red-crowned crane, and after that I will do the Komodo dragon. And what I am doing now is for the third habitat, for the third animal that will go in the Asian section. I think when we go further into the time lapse, you will eventually know which animal it's going to be. It's not going to be a big surprise or anything of that, like that, even if you couldn't read my handwriting before. So yeah, the reason why you will see me doing all the past work is because, most of the past work is because every time and I know this from experience, every time you change the water or the pass, because you want the pass to go then there, and you didn't sort of that beforehand, you have issues with the water. And because I knew that, I figured I would do first, I wanted to do all the passing and all the habitats, like with the invisible barrier. So when I am building the actual habitats, I only have to make the invisible barriers visible or block them or something so that the animals can go there. But I mostly did it. I only have the whole bear valley that I didn't do. It's just, for now, it's just a hole in the ground. I didn't do the tiger habitat that is going to be in there, and I didn't do the elephants and 2 other habitats. So yeah, it was a lot of work. It's so frustrating to do this. I thought I am honestly quite good with the passing and the water volumes by now, but turns out they can give me a headache too. I think I spent like 3-4 hours only on these damn pathings and this damn river, but honestly I am so proud that it now works. And I am quite confident to say that I wouldn't be able to have done this 2 years ago when Planet Zoo came out. 3 years ago. For 3 years, I think. No, Planet Zoo is 3 years old. So, but anyway, I wouldn't be able to do it, and I'm so happy to say I think I mastered it. It took me a while, but I think as of now I can do the habitats without having issues with the water or the passing. We'll see if this remains true. But yeah, for now it's true. And now we're going into the phase in my speed build where I finally had 3 habitats there, and I wanted to make a viewing area and kind of place the barriers a little bit further away, so I just was experimenting so that it would work. But then I realized it's too small. And that's not even, I didn't know how this could be, because in my head everything was very spacious, but turns out, because I already looked if the habitats that I made are big enough for the animals that are going to be in there, and yeah, they were not. So I needed to change that, and therefore I needed to place all the little river arms, or what they are called. I needed to place this always more left, and now it's just kind of hugging the flamingo habitat, but it's not supposed to do that, because there should be another habitat, but I can't do that because the flamingo habitat is in the way. So I think when we will be there and are doing this habitat, I need to delete the flamingo habitat or do them somewhere else, because there isn't going to be any space left. Now I am doing a viewing gallery, or should I say half of a building that is supposed to be the viewing gallery. Yeah, it's the same that I did earlier, just for me to kind of figure out where I want this to go, where it should be, how big is this going to be, so that I can make space for it, so that the river doesn't cut it. So yeah, then I deleted the tiger habitat, or what was left of it, and I didn't delete the tiger overpass, I just placed it somewhere else, and you will see me placing it again where it's going to be a little bit later. So, but first I needed to do some habitat work because they just weren't the right proportion that I wanted them to be, not the right size, and then I had some issues with multiple gates, and yeah, then I needed to fix that, and then I realized, wow, one habitat is even too big, so I tried to make it smaller, and I ran into the issue of the water not wanting to be placed where it should be placed. So this took me some time to figure out, and I am honest, I still don't know what exactly the issue was. I don't know. In the end, I just flattened the terrain again and again and again and again, and yeah, then finally it worked somehow. But for me, it didn't look like anything would happen when I flattened again, so not quite sure what was that. So yeah, but after I was ready with the river part, I finally did the passing again. And yeah, at first I wanted to have some kind of overpass, but then I realized I don't want the overpass all the way through the habitat, to go all the way over the habitat, so I came up with some kind of design so that it wouldn't be all the way over the habitat, but they still could see the animals at one point from above. So yeah, and after I did this little curve going near the river, we're going into tiger territory. And as you will see in a few seconds, I also had to remove the river again, because otherwise I wouldn't had enough space for the tigers, I guess. I don't know, but I guess. And I was just thinking, the more the better. And yeah, then I also did a pass from the second viewing gallery to the main pass, so that I wouldn't have to deal with doing the bridge after that. And then I did another viewing gallery for the Komodo dragon. So yes, that was the Komodo dragon habitat. And now I'm doing the red-crowned crane habitat. I mean, that's what I wanted to do for this episode, and it only took like half of the video to get there. So yeah, I decided to have a walk-in habitat, and I also decided that if you go in there, you can go into some kind of building, and I decided, because this time-lapse is so long, I decided to make this building in the next part, because also this building is going to be a viewing gallery for the Komodo dragon, and so I'm just going to do the building in the next part where I do the Komodo dragon habitat. So you will see what you see from this building. It's not going to change. But what is going to change and what I'm going to do now are the 2 guest entrances for the red-crowned crane habitat. I looked a lot into Japanese gardens. I had the idea in another zoo, so I wanted to make a Japanese garden, but didn't really research on it, so it didn't look that great. But now I did a bit of research, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's really representative of any Japanese garden. It's just, it vaguely remembers it maybe. So yeah, I just googled and searched, and yeah, then I did what I thought looked good. So at first I wanted to do the fencing. I wanted to do some custom fences and some that would represent the feeling of Japan, like these bamboo pieces and then a little bit of wood in between. So yeah, and then I recolored a few bamboo pieces, so it looks a little bit like the fence is a little bit more old, and some of the bamboo pieces, I don't know, got moldy or something. I don't know. It's just giving, in my opinion, it's just giving this used look, and I quite like this look. And then I tried to find something that I wanted to have over as some kind of closure for the fence. In the end, it's just this normal wood piece. I think it looks quite good. So, and after I was finally happy with my fence piece, I started to duplicating it and filling it all the way up, so it's mostly everywhere the real fencing. Not everywhere, but in most places. So after I did a little bit of fencing, I decided to do the passing before I do something else, and after that, fencing again, fencing time. And yeah, for this Japanese garden, I originally wanted to like copy and paste some images I saw, and the layout, minus the waterfall that I'm building right now, is also inspired by some Japanese garden from someone, I don't know whom. It was just some Pinterest build, so I don't know. It's honestly, it's not even looking like the same garden, so I don't know if you can call this inspiration much, because it's not even recognizable anymore. And that is because the red-crowned crane doesn't like that much foliage. You will see this when we finally get there, but I went overboard for them. I think I have more than I think I have twice as much plants as they would like me to have, so yes, but I figured this didn't give some issues with the happiness of them, so I just left it like that. And yeah. Now, after I had done the waterfall with all the rocks and the fencing was finally done, and after I deleted this one piece that I copied that wasn't needed, I put the animals in. I deleted all my work zones, which was a bad idea because I already did work zones in my last 2 videos, so I just did then one work zone for the entrance of the P-Fields, and then I painted the donation boxes, and I had the red-crowned cranes in the habitat. And this was the moment where it finally got a little bit more... I wouldn't say it's got more enjoyable, but that's kind of what it is, because I was so fed up with fences because they were just annoying when I made them, because it's so little pieces and I didn't like it that much. But doing these temple kind of areas, at first I wanted to have them as temples, but I didn't know how to make them. So in the end it's just vaguely remembering some kind of Asian Japanese temple. I did my best. I think they look, for what they are, they look quite nice. And yeah, at first I did the one wall and a few steps. And then I just copied this, so I would have just a square without a roof. But yeah, I figured I wanted to have the stairs go all the way around, so I think I made this whole thing with the stairs a lot harder for myself than it actually could have or would have been if I would just stopped for a second and thought about what plank needs to go so that I would have the stairs all around. So yeah, it's just me not thinking much and just doing and seeing if it fits. So, but in the end it's just it's also worked, so yeah, there's nothing much to say about that because it worked in the end. And yeah, these are going to be the hideouts for the animals. It's a little bit funny that the red-crowned crane has such a big hitbox, because I mean, you see what I do there, you see how big it is, and you also could kind of see in some places how big the red-crowned crane is in comparison to the building I'm making. And for that, I think they can traverse really not that much into there. I would have thought they could move a little bit further into there, but I guess not. So yeah. Then I made lamps on all the ways, and at the hideout temple thingy, I decided to have a few decorations like this boat or the bridge, and also a big lantern. And then I decided to copy the temple hideout thing and via an accident I realized I could just make the second temple bigger, so that's what I did. And I first of all I did only 2 of these temples together, and then I decided I wanted 4, so I pushed the whole wall on the back side back so that I can fill this up with the other planks, and voila, I had a bigger hideout for the red-crowned cranes. And then I saw that the one side of the temple hideout is going to be in the water, and here you can see me trying to make it that the temple is on the ground all around, but this wouldn't be able, this wasn't able, I wasn't able to do this, so in the end it's a little bit in the water, and we are just going to pretend that these wooden planks don't disintegrate or get moldy or something after, like, I don't know, 1 year or something like that. We're just going to ignore the fact that wood does that. It's not going to do this one. It's like waterproof wood. I know that you can spray something on wood to make it waterproof, but I think this is only so that it's rainproof. If some raindrops will come on there, it's not that bad, but wood that's always wet, I don't know if there is any kind of thing that you can put on there to make this forever last. So I don't know. So and also one interesting fact, the red-crowned crane likes it a little bit cooler. I wouldn't have guessed it, so it was a surprise when the temperature wasn't right. Oh, and it was also a surprise, as I was saving and going back into the zoo, I realized this zoo is placed in Oceania, so Australia or New Zealand, and I didn't know that. Maybe I should think about adding in a later stage an Australia area, because, I mean, why not? It's kind of fitting, so yeah, I'm going to have this in the back of my mind. So, and here you can see me going nuts with the plants. Not right now, you can't see it right now, but now you see already the coverage for the plants is red, it's too much. But as the plants itself is at 100%, it's not going to make them unhappy or something, which I think is a little bit weird, because I always thought if there are too many plants, they don't like it as much, so it's going to have an effect of the on the happiness, but I guess not. So I don't know what's up with that. Oh, and yeah, since I don't have any research whatsoever in this zoo, I also don't have any food things to so they would entertain themselves, so I don't have this. I only have playthings or for the amusement of the animals and not for feeding. I'm struggling to find the English word for for these two things, but I hope you know what I mean. So then I decided to make another passing and also have railings, and that's why I needed to do the lamps again, so they would align with the railings. And now I am doing rocks, and I would have forgotten the rocks. They just popped into my mind. The last second I was just going to quit the game, and then I stopped and thought, like, wait, I forgot the rocks. And so I went back in and did some rock work. And I mean, it's not too crazy with the rock works. I mean, there are a lot of rocks, but it's not like some crazy formation except for the waterfall in the beginning. It's mostly covering the ugly earth, so to speak. That's all it is. It's nothing crazy, but I think what is memorable is that I not only use the tempered rocks that I use now, I also use the tiger and the tundra rocks, because the red-crowned crane is found in all three of these biomes in Asia, so I just went with all three of the rock types. And then I made some kind of cobblestone roads, but the cobblestones are really big to the two temple areas, and made the ground underneath it out of sand, so the rocks would pop more. And that is all I did for this speed build. I mean, it's enough, So here are some cinematic shots of the red-crowned crane habitat, and I hope you liked this video, and I hope we will see each other in the next video, where I will build the building and the Komodo dragon habitat. See you then, bye!